Good morning, YouTube. It's Melo with George Page coming to you live on YouTube. Shout outs to my man, the coach, Colin Breaker 99, also Execution 23, Ashley and Quay over their channel who are fans of boxing. Also, shout outs to the Lions Den boxing community, the LDBC. Much respect to them. They are people who are really into the sport of sweet science. And see, I used to be growing up. I was a big fan of boxing. The last few years, I kind of fell off of it. I think particularly with certain people have retired and left the game, it's changed. It's just like I said, this people that the guys who are fighting now just don't have the testicle fortitude as the guys back in the day when I was coming up. But anyway, I was watching. I was on Facebook and just flipping around. I was watching this video, and I saw this video with Stephen A. Smith, or sometimes we call him Stephen A. Slickback, and also here Daniel. He's not allowed to use my bathroom, Cormier. And Daniel is a UFC fighter. He's been a two-time champion, both the light heavyweight and heavyweight division. And Stephen's been around for years as he's been analyst and commentator. But anyway, they were having this little debate about the top 5 fighters of all time. Now, knowing Daniel being in the UFC, he was going to talk about, a good amount of people who are mixed martial artists. Then I saw how the list was going. Okay, you got Amanda Nunes, George St. Pierre, and then so Muhammad Ali. What's Muhammad do with this list? I thought Daniel could talk about UFC fighters. But then I looked at the list more. Then I see Khabib Nurmagomedov, or whatever, Khabib, and Floyd Mayweather Jr. said, wait a minute. How in the hell is Ali behind Khabib and Floyd? No way in hell anybody who's a true fight fan would never put those two guys before, Khabib. And Amanda Nunes has no way in hell of placing top 5. Nowhere. Not even nowhere. I mean, what the hell? And Stephen A. Smith, you've been in the sports game for years. But the stuff I hear about you, Stephen, it's not very good. You had some issues, man. I mean, he used to play here in my home state of North Carolina. He went to Winston-Salem. And, and the stuff I hear about it, I mean, it's wild. And then Daniel Cormier, come on, man. Look at him. He looks like a fit, fat guy. I shouldn't be laughing, I'm a fat guy. But he looks like he reminds me of an actor, if you've ever heard of him, Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum always played, he always wore his shirts off. He looked like he was a fat guy who was fit. And that's what he looks like. He's a fit, fat guy. And you know what? DC, he's not allowed to, use anybody's bathroom or anything like that. I just... But then, he works here with, Ho Rogaine and the other guy. I'm not a fan of I'm not going to call him by his name. I call him Ho Rogaine because he's a Ho and he's a Rogaine. And, and even Steven has the commentary for the UFC because, UFC and ESPN have been together for the last 3 or 4 years. But again, is like I said, Floyd Mayweather on this list, he's too high. He's too high. I like Floyd. He was a great boxer. I've seen many of his fights back in the day, but he's too high. I mean, I remember back in the day, Floyd said he wouldn't get out of bed for no less than $10 million. I remember there was an old ESPN commercial was with Evander Holyfield when him and this guy was talking. And then the guy said, he was talking about, one guy said he was one of the top fighters of the world, 50 fighters in the world. And he said like, the other guy said, no, you're 50 out of Georgia. And he looked for the guy about to beat him up. But, Khabib, he's a good fighter, but the fact is, he doesn't even belong on this list. The guy decided to walk away after 11 fights. And he did a good thing. He beat up Frosty Lucky Charms. I like that. But then, we all know him and Daniel are both buddies because they're both wrestlers and they're cool and like that. I understand you're going to put your friend above, but still above Ali. Above the greatest? Who the hell you think you are, Daniel Cormier? Above the greatest? You never put anybody above the greatest. And then you have George St. Pierre behind him. I like George. He has my name, George. I watch him, I follow him on social media. He talks about great stuff, really physical fitness stuff that really inspires me. But like I said, he hadn't fought in almost, 5 years, I think. And it's just, still, I wouldn't put him in top 5 anything. And Amanda Nunes, the lion-ass queen. I know my man XA loves her. I'm not a fan of her. She's a good fighter. I give her that. But I'm not a fan of her personality. I'm not a fan of her, period. She is a karate. She's a buck dancer. I mean, I have no love for this woman. Her and Nina riding around in that RV that smells like burnt toast and catfish. I know. And she, like I said, she beats some good opponents, but you know what? She shouldn't be top 5 of anything. Not even top 100. And then this guy comes at or comes shot talking about he did said that he compared himself between Mike Tyson and Ali. Hell no, hell no. You couldn't even hold either their jock straps more or less than me compared to him. Some of these fighters in MMA are stupid. You know what? I grew up in the tail end of Ali's career, but I watched the videos and stuff like that. Hear him fighting Floyd Patterson, a legend, a champion. Him and George Foreman's fight was one of the biggest fights of his career. He brought in a new style, the rope-a-dope style. He changed the face of boxing, and also he was an advocate for our people, and also for the people who are going through, like him and Michael J. Fox, who's going through their diseases. And the man was just, he did things. He was just cross, generations, and other societies. He is this guy who just passed away. Who was a famous wrestler from Japan. I mean, his daughter, Layla Ali. Even though, hey, I feel like her is kind of stacked, but still, she followed her father's footsteps. And here he is getting the award by then President Bush. I mean, he done things in this lifetime to make him great, and really, he should be top number one. Then after him is Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was one of the most successful black fighters in history. He was beating up white people, and people were mad. He didn't care. He went over there, he knocked these guys out, he put them out, and he was a bad brother. I mean, you gotta respect the man. I mean, white people didn't like seeing the black dominance, but he represented black dominance. Yeah, he did some issues like driving fast cars, chasing after white women, but like I said, he did what he wanted to do. He was living his life, and he should enjoy what he was making money. And, he was getting success, but people hated on him. He just got, recently, it wasn't that long ago, he got his conviction overturned by, the last dumbass that was president. But, hey, he's still a great man. And, and even had a movie made about him, a play. James Earl Jones did. I talked about James Earl Jones last time when I had my, was it Black History Month, my birthday thing about him. And, he had a movie and a play about him. Has anybody made a movie play about Khabib or even Floyd Mayweather or even Amanda Nunes? Hell no Amanda Nunes. And then you had the late, great Joe Louis. Joe Louis was one of the most, also, he came up in that area of when it's a hard time with racism. But when you people like guys like Schmidt and all those other guys and Max Baer, he really put up good representation of a great fighter. He had great respect, and love for his country. He's like I wouldn't do this what he did. I mean, Ali turned out, but he loved his country much more than they loved him. But like I say, he was a great man, and even people like Ali respected Joe Louis. I know people talk about he lost to Rocky Marciano, but you gotta remember Joe Louis was like 150 years old when he fought Rocky Marciano. I mean, in his heyday, he probably beat up Rocky Marciano. And people say, "What about Rocky Marciano?" He fought some decent fighters, but mostly fought soup cans, and he dodged some fights. That's what he did. And then you had Sugar Ray Robinson, one of the greatest lightweights of all time. Sugar Ray Leonard took his name. Because the fact is, he was just that good. I mean, he beat guys like Jake LaMotta. Jake LaMotta was tough. I mean, even Jake LaMotta has a movie made after him. Raging Bull. I mean, Sugar Ray was one of the baddest, coolest, most toughest lightweights of all time. I mean, he put some guys out. I mean, he's a legend. He's in the Fighters Hall of Fame. Now, other than, I think Mayweather might get into one day, but other than that, the other ones, never. I don't think they ever, because most people don't even know, especially a true boxing fan. And then you have Iron Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, he came in, he was like in his 20s. Already, before he was even 20, he was knocking guys out. Beating guys, putting in their face, and had multiple titles and champions. Probably one of the greatest heavyweights right there. If I put him in, I would put him in top 10 as greatest all-time heavyweights. I mean, you could get a little higher, but the fact is, he still is a great fighter. I mean, he's knocking these guys out. Put them on their face in the first round. Yeah, he struggled with some people, but he was a great fighter. Then before there was Money Mayweather, there was Money Mike. He was making the money, and people talking about all this stuff is he did out of the ring, but that was out of the ring. But he's still a legend. People were like, here, my man, Ric Flair. Woo! Still, he's just, you got people like that with Flair respecting him. And then, hey, even Daniel's boss, Dana White, he hangs with Mike Tyson. Come on, Daniel, you know better than that. You know better than that. And him and Roy Jones, that last fight, it was kind of disappointing. But the fact is, these two men are legends. I grew up watching Roy Jones, and also Mike Tyson. These guys were really, when fighting was really good. When boxing was really good back then, but in the last few years, it's kind of fallen off. These men here are truly legends, true fighters. This should be the top five, my opinion. Maybe just me talking off my butt because I am a fight fan. But the fact is, people like Daniel Cormier and you Daniel, yeah, you got your stink. You got your stink. Yeah, yeah, you smell you got mud butt, Daniel. But the fact is, man, you don't know shit about fighters. You don't know shit. And then look at Look at you saw that video was like 2 or 3 years ago. That video was like he was training the mitts and he's doing like look at herky jerky like what kind of upper yo man you can't throw a punch to save your life, Steven. That's why your name is Steven, not Steve. But like I said, you guys should know better. That list was a bullshit list. No one who's ever grew up watching fighting, who ever been a fight fan, would ever consider that top five fighters. Like even like you said, other than Mayweather and Ali, the rest of people don't know who the hell they are. They don't really. It's sad. And that's sad. So anyway, me speaking as a fight fan, I'm letting you know, get your shit together. All right. This man all the way to your page. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out.